can't talk no more.
Hold on.
As you see, I was thinking Tijuana. The first migrant caravan hit Tijuana. The Tijuana residents are rioting against them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't want them. Well, Trump closed the border.
Yeah.
So now they're stuck. Now they're rioting against the Mexicans are.
Because they're tourist season.
Well, yeah, I imagine so.
Nobody never mind goes to Tijuana. Unless you're looking for dope or dead.
It used to be Tijuana.
That used to be 40 years ago when I was there.
Yeah. Yeah, one or two.
You got a few left. I met your new pastor.
Yeah,
Or fixed his furnace for him.
yeah.
You guys ready?
Good to go.
Ready, 7.
Okay. Call the meeting to order, Fredericksburg City Council, meeting November 19th, 2018, 7 PM, Fredericksburg City Hall. Item number 1, all right, item number 2, roll call.
Mayor Hop, Mayor Pro Tem O'Donnell,
Here.
Councilmember Kennedy, Councilmember DeWitt,
Here.
Councilmember Tois,
Here.
Councilmember Carlson, Councilmember Blease.
Here.
Your Honor?
Yes.
I would make a motion that we excuse Mayor Hop, Kennedy, and Carlson.
Work.
Have motion support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion passed. Item 3, invocation, please rise. Councilmember Tois.
Loving Heavenly Father, we come to you this hour asking for your blessing and help as we are gathered together. We pray for guidance in the matters at hand and ask that you would clearly show us how to conduct our work with a spirit of joy and enthusiasm. Give us a desire to find ways to excel in our work. Help us to work together and encourage each other to excellence. We ask that you would challenge each other and to reach higher and further and be the best that we can be. We ask this in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to At this time, we'll open for public comments. At this time, the citizen may direct brief comments and questions to the city council. Time for public comments will be given when the agenda item is discussed. If you have a comment or question, please raise your hand, recognized by the mayor. After being recognized by the mayor, please stand, give your name, address, record, for the record, and proceed with your comment or question. Please limit your comment to 3 minutes.
You're up. Come on.
Yep. Yep. Mrs. O'Donnell.
All right. We like troublemakers.
Thanks for having me. Karen O'Donnell on Ferry Street. And I am in reference to the marijuana thing that you guys are gonna address tonight later on. I'm hoping that you vote to opt out, and I have some comments as to the reason why. When children live in a healthy community, there's a better chance for a successful future for those children. But that would require an environment of peace, P-E-A-C-E. Protection, education, activities, a clean environment of drugs and alcohol. Children is meeting the age of 0 to 18 years old. Each state experiences a time frame after legalization where the state makes changes secondary to what is actually happening in those states. Those changes come from media reports, final police reports, and concerned parents, etc. That time frame results in a delay in protecting our children. Michigan Proposal 118 was written without any concern for our children by not using facts from other states. Highest per person possession limit of any state in the nation. Selling to minors is vaguely stated. Allows transfer of marijuana to someone else without regulation. Difficult for police to prove a driver is under the influence of marijuana. Per police reports, marijuana is already a problem in this area and surrounding areas, communities. The traffic in this community is already too congested, and easy access to our area could result in more traffic issues too. 2015, from Denver Public Schools, marijuana arrests increased 39%. From students in Denver, from their comments in 2015, they see pot used frequently around the parks, walking in the streets, at the bus, in the bus, everywhere. Another student saying that students have easier access to the drug than they ever had before. Kids just come to class all stoned, just sit there zoned out at their desk. Because of the facts of the marijuana is now legal, it's viewed differently by kids. It's availability and overall mindset that leads to problems. In 2015, 951 middle school drug violations across Colorado was the highest tally in the decade. 1 in 6 teenagers who regularly smoke the drug become dependent on it. Cannabis doubles the risk of developing psychotic disorders, including schizophrenia. And I think that's all I have for now. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for hearing me.
More public comments. Seeing none, close public comments. Go on to item 6. A and B, consideration for approval agenda. A, approve the November 5th, 2018 City Council meeting minutes as printed. And B, approve the appointment of Nicole Vandenberg to the Zoning Board of Appeals as a regular member for the term ending July 1st, 2021.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
No motion, support, discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Moving on to item number 7, 7A. Discussion and take action if appropriate to approve the agreement for the technology services to authorize the mayor pro tem and the city clerk to sign the agreement. Great.
In your packet is a copy of the IT agreement with Ottawa County. They've been doing the city's IT service since 2016. Staff is satisfied with the work that's being done. They keep us up and running, have no issues. You seem to be on the cutting edge of IT and keep us up to date on what we need to do here. The city attorney has looked at the agreement and has no concerns.
I would make a motion to approve the agreement for technology services and authorize mayor and city clerk to sign the agreement.
No support.
Motion, support, further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same, motion passed. 7B, discussion, take action, if appropriate, to approve the schedule for the 2019 city council goals.
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion, support, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Item 7C, discussion, take action, if appropriate, to approve the purchase of a box spreader with a Honda motor from Truck Trailer Specialties, Inc. for $9,180. Craig?
Packet is a quote from Truck and Trailer Specialties to purchase a salt spreader. This salt spreader will be put on our 1-ton pickup truck. It will be used for doing parking lots, and in case of our regular salt truck going down, it would be used for salting intersections, keeping our just helping out until we get the salt spreaders fixed. Currently, we have a 8-footer. It's a little on the small side. It really doesn't fit the truck that well. The DPW would like to get a 10-footer, and it would fit the truck better. It would hold a little more salt. It wouldn't have to make so many trips back to the garage to fill up the hopper. And the price for that with a Honda motor was $9,180. We did include $7,500 for this purchase in the current fiscal year. The budget is tracking on schedule. We should be able to afford the other $1,680.
As I understand it, this is to replace a piece of equipment that we already have, a smaller piece of equipment?
That's correct.
And what are we gonna do with that smaller piece of equipment?
We're going to sell it.
Okay. Do we have any idea what that might bring?
No, I don't.
Question whether we actually need it. We have a functioning piece of equipment now. Just because they would like to go from 8 feet to 10 feet, does that make any sense for $9,000? In my mind, you know.
Is this replacing one we're having troubles with? In addition to,
There's no issues with it, the current one, no. It's just a smaller box. This is a bigger box.
this would just give us a backup.
Yes,
But it's already a backup as it's currently configured, correct?
that's correct.
So the only thing they want is they want to go from an 8-foot spread to a 10-foot spread.
Correct.
And haul a little more cement or salt. Yeah, I would make a motion that we deny it. I just don't, we have a piece of equipment that's functioning. If it wasn't functioning, that'd be something different, but we have a piece of equipment that's functioning. Even if we had to put it on the road with one of the big trucks go down, so what, they gotta haul 2 or 3 more loads of salt. I just don't see spending $9,000 for something that we already have a functioning piece of equipment.
Did we have, was this already scheduled to be purchased and they just want to upgrade it? Or is
There's a
this-
motion on the floor. Was anyone want to second that, or?
Oh,
I'd like to discuss it more.
Should have a second, then have discussion by somebody.
motion. No second. No second. No second. Motion failed.
So your question was,
What, was that already scheduled for purchase? We're just looking at upgrading a purchase that was already in the works already.
we have a 8-footer salt spreader right now.
Right.
And then after last couple winters, there was the concern of the DPW was that they're making a lot of trips back to the garage to fill up the hopper. So when they put the budget together for the DPW department, they wanted to upgrade the 8-foot to a 10-footer.
But
What is the current condition of the spreader that we have? I mean, is it an older piece? Is it something that, I mean, we're looking to wear out in the next few years? Or is it a viable piece of equipment that still has a lot of life left?
Heard any comments from the DPW that it wasn't operating or having mechanical problems? It was just wanted to get a bigger piece of equipment.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to know its age and its condition at this point. Can we find that out?
I'd like to table this.
Yeah.
motion we table it till the next meeting. Well, I understand the BPW's concern because we had trucks that were unreliable. Well, we've upgraded 2 dump trucks, correct, in the last 3 years?
Got the Peterbilt, it's on order. We haven't got delivery of that yet.
Right.
We still
But-
got 3 internationals.
Right, but the internationals were a issue with keeping them on the road. So I can understand Matt's concern. However, we have ordered a Peterbilt now that is gonna be 100% more reliable than those internationals. So, once we get that, I just don't see where to upgrade this piece of equipment when we have a functioning piece of equipment. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, so we got a motion to table
Get more information on it for it, Craig.
the, more Support?
Support.
Further discussion, I would just,
Excuse me, on the table, there's no further discussion.
okay, all right. That's fine.
One table it, and then we can discuss
That-
it.
Nah, that's all right.
It's able,
We'll
we'll move on.
Scott's
bring it
finally
back up.
Scott's finally saying something, damn it.
I was just gonna agree with Pat, that's all. No, that's good. We're
Okay.
fine.
Move on to 7D, introduction of the ordinance number 296, an ordinance to prohibit marijuana establishment as defined under the Michigan Regulation and Taxation of Marijuana Act.
Now, since this is just an introduction, there's no action, right, Craig?
That's correct.
Okay, and I have a couple questions, maybe for Craig. And of course, this is such a controversial, issue. November 6th, the proposal 1 was approved by the voters, so recreational marijuana is gonna be legal. So the question is, what are we gonna allow here in, the city of Ferrisburg? Do you know, Craig, what the stance is for Spring Lake Township, Fruitport Township, or City of Norton Shores?
No, I do not. I'm aware of the 5 area communities, Grand Haven City, Grand Haven Township, Spring Lake Village, Spring Lake Township, are all discussed in the same ordinance that is in your packet.
Yeah. And the information I looked on here is, I'm looking at this and it says 15% to municipalities in which marijuana retail store or micro business is located. So the only thing that I would, think about is if we don't allow a business in the city of Ferrisburg, and let's say Spring Lake Township does, and somebody drives 5 minutes down the street to purchase their marijuana at the retail store, they get 15%. So I'm just thinking on the business side of it, is it a loss of revenue for us if we don't allow a retail business to go into the city of Ferrisburg? I'm not saying anything about the ill effects of the health and blah, 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 blah. I'm not talking anything about that. I'm just strictly talking about 15% tax revenue that we could have by having a possible retail store in the city of Ferrisburg.
Just to give you some quick figures here, that's 15% divided amongst the municipalities that have it. And there are 2,306 municipalities in the state of Michigan. So whatever the revenue is, 15%. If it was, let's just say 25 million for example, the first 20 million goes to the state or to some organization for research. That leaves 5 million to be divided. That's $1,750,000 that goes to the state for roads, $1,750,000 that goes to the schools, divided amongst the 587 school districts. That's $2,981. That leaves $750,000 that goes to the counties, divided amongst the 83 counties. That's $9,036 amongst the municipalities. It would leave us at with the $25 million revenue sharing at roughly $325
Per year?
For Ferrisburg.
for the city of Ferrisburg.
Per year.
Yes,
If
that's
if there was $20 million in revenue?
in revenue. Yes, that's tax revenue. That's not sales.
Okay.
Is there a limit to the number of stores that can be in any community?
Right, a community has the option to, if they opt in, don't opt out, they can regulate the number of businesses in their community.
Possibly require hiring additional personnel to go and make sure the regulations are covered. The response is, there is no upside to the cities, as far as revenue goes. That has been proven, multiple times. It's more expensive to have them than to not have them.
Your Honor?
Yes.
I just got back from 3 weeks in Colorado, and I walked around the neighborhood every night, walking the dog and talked to people there. And I think if it was up there voting Colorado again, they would turn it down because of the tax revenue is outpaced by the cost of administration of the law. When they had to hire additional officers to police the legal establishments and such one. And their insurance went. The car insurance, they're having a cow because their insurance is going up 40%. That was in the Denver Post or whatever it is.
And having talked to just my own car insurance agency, they said it will probably go up, at least probably that much. And we're already paying one of the highest rates in the nation for car insurance to begin with.
Well, according to the paper I was reading, the fatal accident rate in Colorado went up 30% since they passed the marijuana law. So the law is the law. However, we don't have to allow stores or grow operations in Ferrisburgh. There's going to be plenty of other cities where you can get it. It's legal now. But I think Ferrisburgh should keep their nose out of this one. I know, talked to several people on the Grand Haven Council. They're going to vote it down to keep it out of Grand Haven. 2 of the 5 told me that they were. Grand Haven Township, we had a meeting in Harbor Transit. I talked to a couple of them people. They're going to vote opt out. So, I don't know. I would be in favor of.
Yeah, it's, like I said, it's a very controversial issue, and it's, the voters approved it, so now it's gonna be legal for anyone 21 or older. I just don't know. On the business side, we just don't know. Colorado, of course, when it was approved 10 years ago or whenever, they're looking at all the ill effects and what has happened, and we're gonna face the same thing here. But on the business side of the tax revenue, if all these other municipalities, all these other counties opt out, your numbers are going to be different.
Right.
Because that means less retail shops, of course, if these cities and other areas and municipalities are not allowing them in. So then that's going to be very few. I'm just looking at it a tax revenue base. Will Ferrisburgh lose tax revenue from it? Now, do I think if we have a retail shop here, the crime will go up, the use will go up here? I don't know. We don't know, because if it's legal, there's going to be somewhere they're going to be able to buy it. There's medical marijuana places now that they're going to be able to get a license for recreational marijuana. So where are those? Grand Rapids, Muskegon, wherever. So does that mean our residents here are going to drive there, purchase the products there, and come back here and use it in their own home in their private residence? Don't know. I mean, I just hate to see Ferrisburgh lose tax revenue over this. That's something that the voters already voted on, and it's now legalized. That's my point of view on that. I can see the health effects, I can see the long-term effects that the state's going to have on this, and I voted no on it. I did not think the state was ready, but we have no choice now. It was voted by the voters to approve it. So now the law is the law. So we just have to decide if we want it, any businesses here. Do we know if it's going to cause more crime, if blah, blah, blah?
I'm not concerned about the crime as much as I am the cost of, if we have 4 grow operations and 2 retail sales, because other people in the area are gonna opt out.
Right.
My sense
We
is
don't-
Grand Haven Township, Spring Lake, I don't know about the township,
Yeah, we don't know who's gonna opt out.
but if they opt out, so now we make it, legal to come here.
I was thinking the way these numbers looked, I thought it was 15% of whatever their sale was
No,
that we receive, but it's
Statewide,
statewide.
that's amongst everybody. Doesn't matter how many grow shops you have, it's, you can still get the same amount of money. And we, we already, there have already been, several,
There's several grow operations in
Um,
Ferrisburg in the past that I was aware of,
and this will not restrict the residents from having it in their house,
or
Right.
growing their own.
you know, for
Yeah.
their own consumption. It just is going to, just not have a negative effect on our, have to pay for it somehow. Whether we hire somebody to make sure the regulations are followed, because there is actually a lot to it. I've spent a lot of time studying this, I actually talked to a lawyer for the city of Denver, and the amount of regulations that goes along with regulating this is just incredible. And we would not gain any money, it would actually cost the city money. And at this point in time, the city of Ferrisburg cannot afford any more expenditures.
Yeah. I don't think we have to pay any more for regulations.
We would have to pay more,
What-
we would have to pay more to, if we
It's
had,
already regulated though.
well, we'd have to make sure those, no, it is not regulated right at the moment. We would have to come up with the regulations for the city. And then we'd have to have somebody enforce that.
According to that article I was reading in the Denver newspaper, the city of Denver had to hire 700 new enforcement officers to regulate the growth. Now granted, Denver's a huge city,
Police it, to
police
police the, well, that I can see, yeah, if there is more,
but Ferrisburg, we might have to
but
pay,
it, yeah, I don't,
we might
yeah.
have to pay the sheriff and other.
We're such a small town, we could, even if we had 2 retailers here, that's all I'm thinking. I don't think there'd be any more policing that would have to be done. So, I don't know, I'm just looking, I just hate to see the city of Ferrisburg lose any revenue.
Okay.
I am not really, I'm not supporting that type of business, but I would hate to see a loss of revenue. It'd be like us, I don't know, I mean, because we have, look at all the party stores we have here selling alcohol, selling cigarettes. Is that any worse than, you know, the marijuana? It's all bad, but it's legal, so now, I don't know.
Well, we don't have, we can't vote on this anyways.
Yeah, it's just a
Discussion.
introduction to the ordinance.
So-
I'm just curious on it, what Spring Lake Township does, Fruitport Township, Norton Shores, what they're gonna do, because if they all opt out, then maybe that's a little more comforting, but
This-
if,
This is a statistic, the Ottawa County was the one of 33 counties that the majority voted no.
yeah,
And
I saw
Ottawa
that stat.
County was the largest percentage of no votes.
yep, 57.6% said no.
Yeah.
Grantham Township, 51.2. Wonder what ours was, Craig, was that, do we know our percentages here? In the city of Ferrisburg, of voting no or yes? That'd be curious to find out. Well, the whole state of Michigan, I guess, they passed it by,
So I guess with further discussion. So we'll just move this on. Okay,
yeah, it's gonna go to the planning commission, I guess. Is
well,
what's
that's
in
a
the-
separate issue.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Planning
This is
commission.
gonna look at regulating through the zoning ordinance, prohibiting marijuana establishments.
Is that for this ordinance draft number 296?
That would be a different one.
Oh, it's a different one.
That would
Okay.
go in the zoning.
Okay.
Okay, item number 8, public comments.
Lisa Royce, 17700 Navajo. I kind of got to agree with Scott a little bit. I think, well, I guess this question is for you, Craig. If you guys opt out of doing it, you can always change your mind later after a couple of years to see how the rest of the state is doing and how they're regulating it and how it's going to change what we've done. So, I mean, so it's not necessarily putting a door slam shut on it. I mean, you know, you can do it in a step. And since we don't really know, get pieces of Colorado's legislature and see what they've done. You're not going to stop people from growing it here. It is here. And like you said, you know, certain little spots all over Michigan, some wanted it, some didn't, but it passed. I think it was 63% of the state of Michigan. I think that's where the stats were at, but I particularly don't care one way or another. I'm not going to do it whether it's legal or illegal. I mean, now that it's there, I mean, I think it's up to individuals. People use it for different reasons. I've known people all my life that have done it. They're great people. I don't think it's necessarily, like Scott said, alcohol, cigarettes. You know, I find smoking bad, but my husband smokes. I kick him out in the garage. So, I mean, you deal with what you deal with, and if you do something against the law, you do something against the law. I mean, it did pass by the voters, so I think it's something to look at. The voting public is your boss. So I really don't think you should just slam the door because you have a personal thing on it. I think it needs to be seriously researched, and, you know, I think if the city of Ferrysburg can make money that goes towards the bridge or goes towards road maintenance or goes through whatever, that it should be looked at. So I think, you know, maybe voting it down right now as a precaution and see what happens in 6 months to a year and revisit it like we do on many different things would be the way to go, and not completely slam the door and say, hey, we're never going to do this, because we don't know. And it could be a good thing. It could be a nightmare. You really don't know. But the voters did pass it. So you have to look at that because they are the voice. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments?
I just want to address a couple things that Scott said. Today in the news, the Grand Rapids Police Department is hiring 8 new officers just to deal with regulations as far as the public side, the police side goes. And as far as cigarette smoking and alcohol, there is a difference between, you look at kinesis and kinetics and biology, there's a difference between smoking, alcohol, and marijuana. They are not the same thing. So, and I can tell you how it affects the body and how it works on the body, but I think you guys know this. And I think that's something that we need to be concerned about, because once again, you look outside, that's what Ferrysburg is. Children. We got more homes here than we have businesses. We got more homes we have than anything else. And the large majority of those homes have kids and babysitting and grandparents that babysit. We also have the churches and the schools and the parks. That's what Ferrysburg is. And I think that should be addressed along with everything that Scott discussed. So, is that okay, Scott? I don't mean to
Sure.
on you.
Well, it's just, yeah, and I care about the children and, you know, the residents of Ferrysburg and such, but the issue is, you know, it's legal now, so now it's kind of different because people can legally have recreational marijuana, so they're gonna get it from somewhere. Are they gonna get it online? Are they gonna go up to Muskegon? Are they gonna go to Grand Rapids? They're gonna get it. So now single population, or the population voted for it. It's just a tough, it's just really tough to see what's gonna happen. I don't think, my point of view is, I don't think if we have two retailers in the city of Ferrisburg selling it, I think people from out of town are gonna come in to buy. I don't think the local people will buy it. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. So is that gonna have an effect on the usage part of it? I don't know. So that's,
Yeah, and I agree. I think Ms. Royce has a good
And
idea.
that's-
If you vote it down, we can readdress it at a later date.
Right,
Because then we'll see what the other
exactly,
cities
yeah.
are doing first. Because we're a
Right.
small town. We don't want to take on something we can't do. And if we look at how Grand Rapids does it and how other towns do it
Yeah.
first, Little Cedar Springs, I would have thought they were going to go ahead and allow the retail, and they're not. I was shocked by that because they too need money and everything, but they're very family, they're very close to Rockford and they're very family oriented. And it is true though, and this has not changed, that there is a lot of black marketing with these businesses. And the address is still there. It has not changed. You would have thought, it was 2013 when it was legalized in Colorado. That's a few short years, but you would have thought they would have been able to address that. The drug cartels are not going anywhere. There's over 1,000 organizations in this country alone. Detroit and Chicago have several organizations with the drug cartels. Just ask the U.S. Marshals and the DEAs. So, and it's a little town, well, that makes it even better for them because they can hide within the little town. You usually hide within the bigger towns. We don't look at the little towns because they're all in the bigger towns. But guess what happens when they come here? You have to address that issue, and you have to address the fact that is a possibility. So, and I know I'm sounding more harsh, but it's, again, I'm going back to kids and the families. I'm being harsh because of that. I'm harsh with my kids. Ask them. So, okay, thank you.
sure, thanks.
I think one other thing that ought to be recognized, the statewide voters approved, but in the county, there was a majority that didn't. When we do our business here, we represent the people here, not the entire state. So do we need to consider how the county voted, how our communities voted on this issue, and make our decision? I mean, there were dry counties for years, there may still be for all I know, but
I didn't vote for Trump and I have to deal with it, so you really can't go there. I mean, it is the law. I mean,
it is the law, but as a community, we have the right to regulate and opt out.
Well, on the business side of it, we can't do anything for the individual side of it. We can only say no growers, no retailers here. We can't do anything about the individuals having 2.5 ounces of marijuana, them smoking it in their own home.
Lisa's point, they can buy it on the internet, they can go to Muskegon. City of Muskegon's gonna opt in, I know that.
I bet you Amazon grant sold this bad boy.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't get anything on Amazon.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it might not even become an issue.
Well,
Yeah.
and one of the problems is, it may be, and this was addressed in that article I read in Colorado, is all these marijuana retailers, the federal law still supersedes state law. They cannot deposit their money in a bank.
Right.
Any FDIC regulated bank, they cannot put their profits, or they can't have a checking account. So consequently, they have all kinds of cash. Consequently, they're getting robbed all the time.
Well, in 10 years, are more states going to do it? Will the federal government have to
Well,
act?
I'm just saying, at this point in time, armed robberies of grow operations and retail operations are astronomical in Denver. I mean, every day in the paper, I was reading 4, 5, 6, 7 of them every night. So,
That's kind of the downfall of the whole thing, that
well, what do you do with your money? I mean, you're a landlord. You put your money in the bank, you write checks against it, and they cannot do that.
Exactly, but that almost hurts them to a fact that they're trying to do everything legally, but then they're they're stuck holding on to all this money, then we're making them a target.
But I'm just saying, that's the law.
Well, I know.
You know, so until the federal law changes, we got a grow operation across the street with $100,000 in cash in it. Guess what that's gonna become?
You know, it might be smart of us to wait and
That's-
see, we're not gonna stop
yeah.
the 12 plants per person in a household,
Right.
we're not gonna stop that.
No.
I mean, you're not gonna do that, but if you can look at it down the road and then there is money being made, we all know that. A bridge. So maybe 5 years down the road, we turn around and look at it once it's been laid out.
And the federal law may change where they don't have to have the cash on hand. But there was a huge, it was like a
And
10,
that would be scary, and that would make me opt out of doing just what we're talking about, because you're not protected and you're a target.
yeah, in the Denver Sunday paper, they had like a 14, 15-page article on it. And it was scary. I mean, you read, you know, this was passed with good intentions, you know, to get the cartels out. Well, the cartels are not out. So now they can't deposit cash, so now they're getting hit with armed robberies. So the downside, the negative sides, you know, they had a big list of the positive.
But I think the more you get it going,
Yeah.
the more that will push them out.
Okay, any further,
Yeah, if we're gonna have any further comments, can we do it from the podium and,
Yes.
under 3 minutes?
I'm going to, any other comments on other topics? Okay, then we'll move on to, item number 9, report to city manager.
No report.
Okay, council members, Councilmember Blees.
NOR board is gonna meet, next week, Thursday, November 29th. And then the recreation committee, looks like we're probably not gonna meet in December. We're gonna meet in January. I think it's gonna be on a Wednesday. January 9th is the next, recreation committee. That's all I have.
Okay, Councilmember Tois,
No report.
Councilmember DeWitt.
No report.
Okay, and I have no report.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Support.
It goes a lot faster when Debbie's not here.
Strike that from the video.
We're still live.
Strike it, strike it.